Hey guys, my name is Keith Mateka. I'm going to do a Mateka runs through solo variant of Bullfrogs. So to set up the game, you use your regular starting cards that you do with the standard game. You pick a color and you've got your 14 frog cubes and your 2 bullfrogs. You need to also grab your 10 playing cards for your deck, and then pick another color to play as the dummy player. And you need the 14 frogs and then only one of the bullfrog pieces. Now, to start up the game, you put the bullfrog piece on the log card. In the solo game, the bullfrog is never used for any kind of scoring from the dummy player. It just marks where the dummy player currently is active. Then you also need your pair of dice. One is the action die. It has a 1, a 2, a 3, a 1, a 2, and a 3 on it. And then this is the movement die. It has a left, right, up, down, all directions, and blank. And you've got your 10 playing cards. You shuffle those up. You do not draw a hand. Game starts out with the dummy player first. So you roll the dice for the dummy player to see what he does. I roll a down arrow and a 2. So first you do the movement. So down arrow means he moves to the card, one further down, towards the player. And then he gets 2 actions. If possible, he will do what's called an execute action. That means to take one of your pieces off of the card that he's on and bring it back to the supply. You can't execute a bullfrog. You can't execute while you're on the dummy player can't execute while he's on the log card. The player doesn't have access to that action. They have the deploy and sabotage like in the standard game. So I've rolled 2 actions. He's going to deploy twice on the card that he's on. He never will. You can never deploy more than twice on a card, just like in the standard game. In this instance, if this had been 3, he would deploy twice. He couldn't take a 3rd action, so he'd have to forfeit it. And then it's back to the player's turn. The player's turn, instead of having a hand of cards, you draw a card and you play it. So I have a 4-action card. Let's do this. Now it's the dummy player's turn. I got the up arrow and a 1, so he moves up to the log card, deploys 1. I draw a card. I have a 3-action card. I'm going to go ahead and take advantage of this. 1, 2, 3, deploy. This scores. Jump, jump, jump. Back to my supply. This goes to my score pile just like in the standard game. No need to slide. Dummy player's turn. Roll the dice, 3 actions, and he got the left arrow. So he goes left. He gets 3 actions. The first one has to be to execute one of my pieces. Then he'll deploy twice. Now my turn. Flip a card. Got a 3. We'll play here. I'm going to change my mind. We'll play here. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to put a bullfrog there, actually. 1, 2, 3. This scores. We'll push him to that card, me to that card. This one goes back to my supply. This goes to my score pile. This now kicks off. I have 4 strength. He has 3. I win the card. I have to jump one of his pieces to the log. This goes out of the game just like the regular game. These come back to my supply like the regular game. This goes to my score pile. Now this guy basically he's floating, so he needs to go to another card, and he goes to the card that has the least number of pieces on it. These 2 cards both have 0, so I get to choose which one he goes to. That one's fine. This card needs to be slid. We'll put it right there. Dummy player's turn. Rolling the dice. Any direction in 1, so I get to choose what direction he's going to go. And he has to move either to the log card or here. I guess we'll go down here. Got to keep the dummy player off the log if I can. Now my turn. Flip a card. 3 actions. I'll do frog deploy, bullfrog deploy, deploy. So this card scores. Yellow jumps. This goes back to my supply. This is out of the game. That's both of my bullfrogs. See you guys. Then this I have to put on either this card or this card. I'll choose this one. Dummy player's turn. I have a 2 and a down, so he moves down to the log card. He can't execute because it's a log card, so he'll deploy twice. 1, 2. He now has the lead on the log card. My turn. 4 actions. What to do? We'll go over here. No, that's a bad idea. We'll go right here. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's my second 4-action card. That's the last one. We'll go ahead and jump him here, here, and here. Back to my supply. This goes to my score pile again. This has to slide. We'll bring it in. Dummy player. Up in a 2. So up, 1, 2. My turn. Draw a card. 3. Well, not the greatest play, but it's not bad. 1, 2, 3. We'll jump yellow to here. Green. Score. Jump. Jump. Supply. Score. Just gotta slide this card. We'll slide in here. Dummy player's turn. He goes down 3. So he can't execute because it's a log, so he gets 2. Now my turn. That card, I get 2 actions. We'll deploy dummy player, any direction, and 1. Well, I'll move him over here. Deploy once. My turn. 2 actions. Oh, 2 actions. We'll go here. 1, 2. Jump, jump, jump. Supply. Score pile. Slide up. Now, if the dummy player scores cards, actually it's not my turn yet. I'll let him roll. Go to the left and 2. So he's got all kinds of cubes on that log card. My turn. 3. We'll go 1, 2, 3. This scores. Jump, jump, jump. Supply. Score. We'll put this over here. Dummy player's turn. He's got up in a 3. Up. There's no one to execute. So he gets to take 2 deploy actions. He only has 1 cube left. Puts it down. The second deploy action has to come from the log card as a redeploy onto there. Now it's my last turn. I got a 2. I will grab this card and then grab this card. Deploy. This one's full. Jump. This card isn't full. The dummy player is not going to get another turn because he starts. This goes back to my supply. This goes to my score pile. So in this particular game, the dummy player didn't score any cards, which is a little unusual. But if you were to score cards as the dummy player, those go into a separate score pile just for the dummy player, and then at the end of the game, those count as negative points for you. And then if as a result of the dummy player scoring cards, and there needs to be sliding, then the player gets to decide where the card is slid. The player also gets to decide the order of how the jumping works. If the player is the loser, the player still gets to decide which cards the loser is going to. But there's more details of that in the rule book. So that is the end of the game. You count up your points. Now the cards of your color don't count for bonus points in the solo game, so you don't have to worry about that so much. I like to group up my cards by 10s. So 10, 20, 30, 37, 38, 39, 40, 45. So I have 45, and then 5 versus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 5 versus 7. So each one of these counts as a point for the dummy player, so it's a negative point for me. So I'm just going to take these out in pairs. They're kind of nullifying each other. The dummy player, this is negative 2 points for me. And then he also has the highest strength on the log, so he gets an extra 3 points, so it's a negative 5 points for me. I scored a 40 is my final score. And then you can look in the back of the rule book, there's a chart to show you kind of how you did, and you can use that number to kind of try to do better next time. But that's how the solo variant for Bullfrogs is played. Thanks for checking it out.